A recent proclamation by President Obama declared April 2013 as National Sexual Assault Awareness and Prevention Month. At least 1 in every 6 women and 1 in every 33 men in the U.S. has been raped or subjected to an attempted rape during their lifetime, according to the U.S. Department of Justice. Last weekend, on the tail end of Awareness Month, students at SUNY Plattsburgh held a march to empower survivors of sexual assault, but instead they were verbally assaulted. Days later, they regrouped and fought back. A heartfelt and firm response to reports of sexual harassment at SUNY Plattsburgh, students and members of the community, female and male, rallied on Tuesday after members of a campus fraternity traumatized a group marching for rape awareness. Senior Elizabeth Rafferty was among those targeted.
There's something called a trigger, and it's where like you can live pretty much your entire life, and yeah, you think about the event, but it doesn't have like, it's not going to rule your life, but then it's called a trigger, and it just kind of like, it all just comes back to you like it's happening that moment. It was a really bad trigger effect for me, so it was terrible.
Last Saturday, SUNY students held a Take Back the Night event, an international protest that centers around the common idea that women should have the right to move freely in their communities, day and night, without harassment and sexual assault. It was during that march, near campus, that a group of males started yelling, "Shut up," and chanting a sexually charged slur. Joanna Burgos says that some left the march because they were so upset, but many carried through to the finish. Afterwards, they decided to hold another rally just days later within the site of the fraternity house.
I was going to all my classes, letting people know, we're having a rally because of what happened during the weekend. And we were trusted so much with victims and survivors telling their stories that night. And we were supposed to have this march to let them feel empowered and let them see the strength they have and their voices have. And then we had the unfortunate event where someone told them to be silenced. And that's never okay for a survivor to be silenced. It stops their healing process, and that's never okay. Like, we want to empower survivors. We don't want to halt their healing process. We don't want them to feel shame for something that's never their fault.
Representatives from the school, as well as campus and city police, were all on hand at the second short-notice gathering.
This event wasn't long in the making, so there wasn't a lot of planning for it. We were notified yesterday afternoon that this was going to be happening. I was asked to speak, just yesterday, and so again, the tensions are, emotions are running pretty high. And continue to, and I would imagine it will for some time, and that's okay. It's an opportunity for us to further the conversation, further the effort to create a safe environment.
Despite the outrage and lingering effects from the incident, campus police say they are not pursuing a criminal investigation.
Now what's happening is an administrative investigation. It is not criminal. No reports at this point have been made that anyone was personally threatened, assaulted, their progress wasn't impeded. No contact was made whatsoever from the reports that we have. So it's an administrative investigation, and different things can happen from that. You might see charges against a group if the investigation reveals evidence that whatever the action was, that it was impeding the progress of a campus activity.
The president of the fraternity, Alpha Chi Rho, later released a statement saying, quote, "We express our deep regrets over the incident that took place Saturday night. No one should be subjected to that type of language. We recognize the seriousness of the situation and the amount of people justifiably offended by it. We are investigating the situation and cooperating with the campus administration in its investigation." As the second rally proceeded, Elizabeth Rafferty stood amongst the crowd once again and shared her personal story.
A lot of people don't understand that what they experienced was even sexual assault or rape. I mean, in my instance, I'd been drinking. I had invited this guy that I was friends with over. So, I mean, it's all about, like, blaming the victim and, you just think that it's your fault, like, well, it wasn't rape because it wasn't in a dark alley, it wasn't with a stranger, I didn't scream no over and over again, I froze, but, so it's all about, like, blaming yourself a little bit, and you don't really know who to talk to or how to talk about it to anyone. So this event and seeing all these people come back out to say, we won't stand for this kind of behavior, and we support you as a survivor, and we support, like, who you are as a person, was really meaningful, and it was super empowering to me as a person. It made me feel really good.
She says she decided to stay in Plattsburgh after her assault, but partly because she didn't want to have to tell her parents what happened, but partly because Plattsburgh is a beautiful community, and she'd like to see it change for the better. For Mountain Lake Journal, I'm Tamika Weatherspoon.